What up, YouTube? What up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and I am here today. This is a new show, you guys. So this is going to be me reviewing Pretty Little Liars, the original sin that's aired on HBO Max, I believe. Yeah, HBO Max, you guys. So this is going to be the original sin, season 1, episode 1. This is chapter 1, Spirit Week. All right, you guys. So before we go ahead and jump into this review, if you guys are watching this video or any other on the channel and you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, then I'm gonna need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop checking me out on this date and having me paying for it at the end of it. You guys can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications, sharing the video, you guys. And with that out the way, without further ado, let's discuss Pretty Little Liars, the original sin, shall we? All right, you guys. So the thing to know about me is I'm a huge Pretty Little Liars fan. I watched the original series that used to air on ABC Family, then Freeform. I love that series. So we are in Millwood, Pennsylvania. So the episode opens and we are in December 1st. It's December 31st, 1999, New Year's Eve. So we hear this one girl, she's going through and she's screaming for help. And then we see her mascara is running and her face was like red as hell, right? So then she asked this girl named Sydney for help, and this girl named Davy told her, no, we talked about this. So the girl who was screaming for help, her name is Angela. So Angela went up to the ceiling, bitch, jumped off. I was like, damn. So that is the original sin. So now we're jumping 22 years into the future. So one of our characters that we're following, her name is Imogen. So she is having dinner with her mother, and her mother is asking her if she can, if her mother is asking if she's up for this. So we find out that Imogen is going to be burning some shit, and then there's a knock at the door, right? So there's another girl that came to her house. Her name is Karen. So Karen is telling her that she doesn't want any drama, and Greg is in the car. I'm like, well, what a little bitch you are. So then Karen gives Davy a note that was on the door, and it's a flyer saying party like it's 1999. So so Davy is Imogen's mother. So she flipped it over on the back, and it says gone but never forgotten. I'm like, damn. Party like it's 1999 and gone but never forgotten. So it says gone but never forgotten. You can't ignore the past forever. Jesus Christ. So was this on the flyer? The countdown is on? I guess so. So Karen is upset with Imogen because she believes that Imogen kissed her boyfriend Greg. And Imogen is like, she didn't kiss him, he kissed her. So they got into it about that. And Karen was about to leave until they noticed that the house was flooding a little bit, right? So they go to the bathroom to find Davy unlived, and the signature that has the letter A. I was like, well, damn, we getting a little gruesome with this shit, ain't we? So we move 1 month forward. So it's September 28th. It's a Monday. So Imogen, she's going to be staying with Sydney and her daughter. So Sydney is going to be showing the house that Imogen and her mama lived in. I'm like, girl, that's giving very much Michael Myers. Who the hell wants to live in a house where someone was ixnayed? No. So we find out that the mothers were friends. So most of our characters, their mothers, I figured this out watching the episode. So the new liars are the daughters of, quote, the original sin. So they were on their way to school, and Imogen was going to drop the key off at the house, right? So she went to go up to the door, and if you guys are familiar with Halloween, the original Halloween with Jamie Lee Curtis, when she first came on as Laurie, and she went by the Myers house to drop off the key, and Tommy told her not to go up there because the boogeyman lives there. and Michael was at the door breathing. That's kind of reminiscent of what this episode was. So then we see Imogen, and so Sydney's daughter's name is Tabitha. So they go to school, right? So Karen asks, Imogen, how is she? And Tabitha says, she says, if you, they're talking about Karen, and they're calling Karen a narcissist, which I believe Karen is a narcissist. She says, if you need anything, girl, let me know. So then Karen came up to Imogen, trying to be friendly to Imogen, right? Hugged Imogen, and then told Imogen, nobody wants your pregnant, tragic ass here. I was like, you little bitch. Baby, if anybody gotta go, Karen gotta go. So Tabitha told her, fuck them, and sit with me at lunch. I was like, Tabitha, you my girl. You are my fucking girl. So I'm gonna pause here, you guys, and I'm gonna move forward. So like I said, Karen is a complete and total bitch. So Karen is talking to this girl, Mouse. When Mouse was looking at this flyer, I guess it's about people who are LGBT, and she's like, you don't have to come out. Like, basically saying, everybody already knows. I'm like, you little bitch. So then she spoke to this girl named Farron. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Now, Farron paid her dust. I was like, oh, so you're not the queen bee, but you want to be the queen bee. So then she bumped into this girl. She bumped into, now, who did she bump into? So I'm trying to get the names together. So give me some time to get these names together. But Farron bumped into a girl, and she said Kelly and Karen are dicks. Okay, so then we see this girl. I think her name is Noah. I think that's her name. And she's giving a urine sample, right? So we meet her boyfriend. His name is Sean. He asked her what's wrong. She's like, this damn ankle monitor, and I'm on community service for 3 more weeks, and then I got to piss in a cup. I'm like, girl, what did you do to have to piss in a cup? So she says she got to, actually she's gonna be peeing in a cup all year long. I'm like, damn, girl, what the hell did you do? So she got a text saying, don't do the crime if you can't do the time. I was like, well, damn. Now, one thing I will say about the original sin, you guys remember, because a lot of the girls, when A texts them, they're like, who the fuck is this? And A responds back. Now, with the original Pretty Little Liars, anytime A would text them, if you watched the original series, they would read the text message aloud in front of each other, but they would never respond back to the motherfucker and be like, who the fuck is this texting me? Like, they never once responded back to A in the original Pretty Little Liars that aired on Freeform. And so she asked the person, who was it? And the person said, your conscience. I was like, excuse you? Rudeness? So Tabitha, now, when I looked at Tabitha, this gives a lot of horror references. So if you guys are not familiar with the horror genre, I would highly suggest you go watch some of them. So Tabitha gives very much Randy Meeks from Scream. If you guys are not familiar with who Randy Meeks is, Randy was a geek. He loved horror movies. Actually, loved all kind of movies, but he knew about your slasher films. He was a film nerd. And then if you guys watch the most recent Scream, he has a niece who is just like him, and she survived, which I think she'll be in the next Scream that is coming next year. So she's in a class and the teacher telling them they have to make a short film, right? And they have an approved list, but she's like, I don't see anybody black on there. I don't see any people of color. I don't see anything representative of diversity, basically. So the teacher tells her, that's the list, pick from it, I don't give a damn. So then, again, with the horror trope, right? It's so interesting. She got a text message, right? And the person asked her, what is your favorite scary movie? If you guys are familiar with Scream, that is Ghostface's favorite line. What's your favorite scary movie? Hello, Sydney. So the person texts her back, says, Peeping Tom. I was like, girl, block that number. Then we see Imogen, right? Imogen got a text to look outside. And once again, reminiscent of Michael Myers, somebody is standing outside in the field. I'm like, so nobody noticed that motherfucker over there in the field? Nobody? Okay. Hilarious, you guys. So then Mouse. I'm sorry. This show is actually, I'm laughing because of these horror tropes. But Mouse got a text message and it says, "Can Minnie come out to play? XOXO Mickey." I was like, no. So then we see Karen. So she and Ferran, I think they're in like a ballet dance recital. So they're getting their parts for it, right? So Karen says, Ferran got the lead, not Karen. So Karen says, the woman that made her the teacher made her the black swan, basically because she's black. I was like, you little bitch. Karen is a bitch. Like, through and through, she is a fucking bitch. So Ferran got a text message, right? She asked who was it. The person says back to her, "Your number one fan." So she called her mom all excited. I'm like, girl, that wasn't your mama. Like, I'm sorry. When the person texts you back with these weird cryptic responses, block the number. Block the motherfucking number. Alright, you guys, so I'm going to pause here and we're going to move forward. So, these kids are like really fucking ruthless, asking Imogen what is she going to do about the baby. I'm like, have the baby? What do you think, dumbass? So then Imogen went to the nurse and told the nurse that she wanted an abortion. The nurse was like, Imogen, you're 6 months pregnant. You are past the cutoff point for an abortion. So then we see Noah. So Noah is doing her community service. The sheriff, who is Karen's dad, is a pedophile. So while she was on her community service, she noticed his car. She noticed someone was watching her, right? So she went to go tell the sheriff. Mind you, the sheriff is in the car getting a blowjob from a teenage boy. I was like, ugh, how nasty. So Tabitha works at a movie theater, right? And she's, like I said, she's much like Randy Meeks from Scream. So she wants to do a screen of Get Out and Us. And her boss was like, okay, cool with that. He said, do you need a ride home? I was like, girl, no, you do not need a ride home. He seems very creepy. So we see Imogen. So Imogen finally went into the house. So there was something in the house that she wanted to get, and it was her sonogram photo, right? So then she also found the flyer that her mom got. So Noah, she went home, and her mom was asking her, how was community service and everything. And, she asked her, is she keeping her distance from the other kids? Girl, it ain't the other kids you got to worry about. It's the sheriff. Worry about that bastard. Because that is a skis ball. He's a skis. So then, speaking of skis balls, Tabitha and the skis ball. So he drove her like to this secluded area. I was like, Tabitha, get out the car, baby. Run, bitch, run. So he tells her that, he talked to his professors about her at NYU. And, she was thankful for that. I'm like, girl, get out that motherfucking car and get away from him. So then he tried to kiss her. I was like, see, I was right. Get out the car. Punch him in the nuts. Do something. So then she noticed the figure in the background, and she told him to start the car. He took his own good time. I'm like, bruh, now if that person comes up to you and just slashes your throat, you're going to look stupid, but you won't be here. So she went home and she reviewed some footage of the boys' locker room. I'm like, girl, what is going on here? Hella weird. It was a little weird. All right, you guys, so I'm going to pause here and I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this episode. So Ferran is doing her rehearsals, and the teacher calls her in because, she had missed some practice. So the woman is like, why have you been missing practice? And she was like, she has other things that she has to do. So then this boy, he approaches Mouse, right? And he's saying that, you should, because remember earlier, I told you guys she was looking at that flyer. So she's still looking at these flyers, and the boy tells her she should come to the meetings. But she says that, it's not really something that she's into. But he eventually talked her into it. So then we see Imogen. So Imogen is talking to the principal because the nurse went to the principal because remember, Imogen wanted to get an abortion, right? And Imogen was like, she knows she can't get an abortion. She's she's too far along. But she feels like, you know, the nurse feels like school might not be a good fit for her. And, you know, then the principal tells her some of her classmates are triggered by her being there. I was like, who the fuck cares about these kids being triggered by her? What they got to do with them? They ain't pregnant. So, baby, Imogen took her bad ass to the cafeteria and she went off on Karen. And she told Karen, bitch, I ain't going no motherfucking where. I'm staying right here. And guess what, bitch? I'm running for Spirit Queen. I was like, you better do that, Imogen. You better fucking do that. So then we see Karen. So Karen is mad that Imogen is back at school, and she's, you know, mad that Ferran got the part that she wanted. Boo hoo, Karen. I don't give a fuck. Stop being a little bitch. Now, see, when I was watching this, right? Because I told you guys, I am a fan of the original Pretty Little Liars. So when I was watching this, I was thinking, because you guys, if you go back to, if you think about the original Pretty Little Liars, the original one surrounded Aria, Spencer, Hannah, and Emily, right? Those were the four girls that it surrounded in the original Pretty Little Liars. And the whole secret was who killed Allison De Laurentiis. But if you guys watched the original series, and this is a spoiler alert, if you never watched it, click off. Too late. Allison De Laurentiis never died. She faked her own death because she was hiding from A. Now, in the original, in season 2, we found out that A was Mona Vanderwall. Then I forgot. It was a whole team of them at one point. But yeah, so I was thinking, and then if you guys don't know, Allison was a complete bitch to everybody, even her friends. Like the four girls, Hannah, Aria, Spencer, and Emily, those were her best friends. She was a complete bitch to them. She was in love with Emily, a bitch to Emily too. But that's neither here nor there, right? So I was thinking, watching Karen, I'm like, something bad is going to happen to Karen. Oh, you know what? I still think something bad is going to happen to Karen because I haven't got to the end of the episode yet. So, her dad is basically telling her, because they were having dinner, and her dad is a sheriff, he's telling her that she needs to be better than everyone. I was like, what about you? Yeah. So we see Mouse. So Mouse is chatting with Ash. Who the hell is Ash? I don't know who Ash is. I put that in my notes, but I don't know who he or she is. So her mom doesn't like, Ash, the boy that wanted her to come to the meeting. I don't think that was Ash she was talking to. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I don't think that was him. Her mama don't like it, and her mama's telling her to be careful. I'm like, you should right about that. So then Karen, she and Greg went out for pizza, and I mean the way that Karen is a total bitch. The way that Karen talked to Greg, I'm like, Greg, you a pussy to be dealing with the shit from Karen. But he eventually left Karen. I was like, amen. So we see Imogen. So she's telling Tabitha what happened with her, you know, with dealing with the abortion. And Imogen tells Tabitha about the note that her mom got the night that and she said she'd never do it. And Tabitha asked her if she left a note. She didn't leave a note. So obviously it wasn't a suicide. I don't want to say the word. So, the janitor, you guys. So this Michael Myers-esque person, the janitor, followed that person and found A's lair, and A took the janitor out. I was like, damn, we really dark in this shit. So they get to school and they have flyers of Imogen and Karen, but Karen's flyer has a bitch on it. So everything that's happened, a lot of bad stuff is happening to Karen, right? So all of the girls are being blamed for the things that have been happened. Excuse me, y'all. All of the things that are happening to Karen are being blamed on most of the girls, right? Imogen got blamed for the flyers that got bitch written on it with Karen. Karen had a dead rat in her purse. They believe that that's Mouse. Noah, she actually failed her drug test. And then someone put a straight razor in Karen's ballet shoes, right? So all of the girls got detention. And they come to the conclusion that the common denominator in all of this happens to be that bitch Karen, right? So all of them have a beef with Karen, and now they say Karen has got to go. I was like, well, damn. Okay, I'm here for it, you guys. I was here. I enjoyed the first episode. I will say that I did enjoy it. But let me know if you guys watched the original Sin. Let me know what you thought about it. Drop down in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel, you guys. Turn your post notifications. Share the video, you guys. And until the next time, you guys, stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Wash your hands. Wear a mask, you guys. Socially distance. Be blessed. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.